Don't forget your microphones. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this council meeting. We are not expecting a fire alarm, but in case there is, then please exit the doors and the building and make your way to the far end of the car park. We'd ask all councillors, all the chambers, please to either return your mobile phones off or onto silent, please. Give you time to do that.
Thank you.
Darryl, apologies, please.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, members. We've got apologies for this afternoon's meeting from Councillors Yardy, Rake, Lawford, Councillor Birch, who's on the Teams meeting link, Thomas, McKay, and Allen. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right, we got the minutes of the meeting of the 23rd of May. I need a proposal for that, please. We all agree that they are correct and in the right order. Councillor Hudson and Councillor Long, thank you very much. Urgent business, that's item 2. There's no urgent business to be raised, so that won't happen. There should not be a need, this is item 3, exempt information. There should not be a need to divide the agenda, so that won't happen either. Could I have declarations of interest in anything on the agenda, please, from members? No declarations of interest. That's pecuniary or any other interest. Thank you very much. Right, we got item 5, which is business brought forward by the chairman. That appears to be me. I got one item I would like to bring forward, if I may. I can find a paper, which I'm sure I will eventually, hopefully. Right, I haven't got that with me, but it doesn't matter because I know what I'm going to say. As you all know, we've now moved into a new era since the elections. So hopefully that we can move forward now and all work together, because we've got a new government and we can work with them or against them, but you weren't going to win if you go against them, so we've got to work with them. I'd like to welcome our 2 new MPs, and that's for South West Devon is Rebecca Smith, and for South Devon, Caroline Voden. That's for the South Devon, and I'm sure we can all look forward to working with both of them, because that's the way we work. We work with the MPs, which is excellent. I think also on behalf of South Hams District Council, I am sure we would like to thank Anthony Mangle for all the work he's done in the last 5 years, and to wish Sir Gary Streeter, South West Devon, a long and happy retirement after 30 plus years, I think, as an MP. We wish them all the very best. The new MPs, we wish them the very best as well, because they got a big job on their hands, and we look forward to working with them. So thank you very much for that. Right, got item 6, which is public question time, and there is no public questions that have been received in accordance with the procedures of the rules. So if they haven't been received, then they can't be brought forward. So we'll move quickly on to item 7. This is a good meeting. And we move on to the reports of bodies. Development Management. Councillor Long, please, for the 15th of May.
Chairman, I'd like to move the minutes of the meeting of the Development Management Committee for Wednesday the 15th of May 2024 for noting. Chairman.
Thank you very much. And now we move on to B, which is a licensing committee. Councillor Rake. He's absent. So
Vice Chair.
Is it? Pardon?
Somebody else can introduce them.
Yeah,
else from
somebody else from licensing. Councillor Carson, would you like to?
I would like to move the minutes.
Oh, it's not.
Sorry. I would like to move the minutes from the Licensing Committee on the 16th of May 2024, please.
That is for
Noting.
noting. Thank you very much. Now executive, so we move on to Councillor Brazil to present the minutes from the 6th of June.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, just so to present the minutes for noting from the executive on the 6th of June, and so moved.
Thank you very much. You don't need to vote on that, do it. That's just for noting as well. Right. It's D on item 7, which is Development Management Committee of the 20th of June. Councillor Long, there are no recommendations, so Councillor Long, please.
Chairman, I'd like to move the minutes of the meeting of the Development Management Committee of Wednesday the 20th of June for noting. So moved, Chairman.
Thank you. Now we go to 7E. Councillor Brazil to present the minutes for the 18th of July. There are no recommendations relating to the harbour moorings. Well, there might be. There is one.
Yes.
There's one on harbour moorings barge. This one I believe we got to vote on. Yeah, so over to you, Councillor Brazil.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just happy to move for noting the minutes up to page 11 on the extra papers, and then on page 12 there is a recommendation. The recommendation is that we approve the budget for a new moorings barge. Just a bit of background. Sorry, I mean Mark could do it as well, but as I've got the floor, basically it needs repairing. Anyone that's seen it needs replacing, absolutely. And just to say that all the funding from it is coming from the Salcombe Harbour, so it's not costing council taxpayers a penny. It's all coming from revenue that they've generated from Salcombe Harbour users. And so I'll propose that recommendation.
Thank you. Seconder, please. Councillor Long. Thank you very much. Would you like to say anything on this one, Councillor Long?
I just sort of reiterate what the leader has said, that this is replacing something which is needed to improve and make the harbour more efficient and keep us in a very health and safety area, and to sort of really, it was a unanimous decision by the Harbour Board, and the fact that we have managed to fund this out of our own reserves. So I think that's the way it should be. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much. The recommendations on the board, on the screen in front of you. We've got a proposal, we've got a seconder. We're all in favour of that?
That's unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. That's that one. We move on now to item 8. Questions on notice. No questions received. Item number 9. Motions on notice. One motion received from Councillor McKay, and I've spoken to Councillor McKay before. Unfortunately, he had to go away for a family emergency, so he's not here. And he said, I would ask the council if they would like to defer this until the 24th of September, which is next 26th of September, sorry, when the next full council meeting is, or whether you want to go through with it now. So, Councillor Hodgson.
Thank you. I think this is an urgent matter, and I think there's a date already in the motion, so I think that should be noted. If it was deferred till just a few days before that, it would be sort of like lose its value and probably meaningless. So I'm happy to second the motion if that helps, to try and just make sure it goes forward at this stage.
Yeah, I think we come to that one in a minute, Councillor. But so is everybody in favour of carrying on with that then and taking it as it comes? Okay, right, we move forward. So I now need a proposer on that one. Lee's proposing. Seconder?
Councillor.
Councillor Hodgson. So I need now for that to be outlined what the motion is. I think most of it's on the screen. Introduce the motion.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So I want to give credit to John McKay, first of all, for putting forward this motion, which I think, as has already been mentioned, is an urgent matter because of the issues in the water in the region being so pertinent both to the wildlife, but also tourism and the overall health of the community. I think John has put together a lot of points here about the issues and concerns that are arising from failures from South West Water, and also put forward a number of actions. So perhaps I'll just touch, if I can, on one or 2 points that John hasn't mentioned, because subsequent to the motion being raised, there was a report from the Environment Agency issued only on Tuesday this week, which looked at all the water companies in the UK and rated them according to the environmental performance assessment. South West Water has again been given 2 stars, which is 2 out of 4, pretty much the worst out of all the companies in the country, and also worst performing company for the metric of water sewerage pollution incidents. So basically the highest number of pollution incidents per kilometre of pipeline. This is a pretty damning report, and it's not so bad. It's not so much that it's bad in this particular year, but it's been bad consistently since these reports were issued in 2011. Every single year, South West Water has been rated red on the pollution incidents register since 2011 to the current year. And in every single year, it's been rated either 1 or 2 stars for its environmental performance assessment overall. So I think John is right in summarising that this company is not delivering what we expect in the region. We've had the cryptosporidium issues, of course, in Brixham, affecting 16,000 properties over 2 months. We've got pollution bubbling up in the town square in Kingsbridge in the car park that's been going on for weeks and weeks and weeks. We've obviously got the water pollution incidents up and down the area and the beaches. I think it's important to think about what we're going to say and what we're going to do. Again, John has put forward some very good suggestions that we make some demands on South West Water to improve, to invest more, and to stop leaks more quickly. The point that I want to highlight is the idea of a water summit that we've put forward as part of this motion. So I think it's really important that we address these issues not just within this council chamber, but also more publicly, and include community groups, maybe other councils or MPs to listen to the issues. And we invite the Chief Executive of South West Water to hear some of those concerns, and more importantly, to give us some answers, because I think the community really deserves some answers on this topic, and quickly. And thirdly, I hope we can start to work towards some actions. We're not responsible for water, but we want to hear actions that can be monitored and managed that improve things. As I've said, the issues have been lasting since 2011 at least. And South West Water, in their recent comments, say it's going to take a long time to fix these things. Well, we don't really have a lot of time. How long are we expected to wait? I would hope that people can support the motion and try to put pressure on the South West Water organisation to do what's right for the community. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hodgson, would you like to come in now or wait until the debate?
I'll come in now, actually. Thank you.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah, I just think this is a really urgent matter. I mean, the meteorological officers yesterday were talking about what's going on with climate change and the fact we are seeing, wetter and warmer summers, and we can expect that to exceed. And we're also seeing more excessive rainfall from time to time, which makes a big difference and is the excuse on many occasions, and sometimes without even that excuse, for putting sewage into our waterways. we're really undermining, I think, the good name of this area, let alone the fact the quality of our waters are really risky. We're denying people the chance to go and enjoy their rivers and have a swim. We're making people worry about what's in their drinking water. Cryptosporidium should never have happened. And I just think it's, there's a lot that we should be looking for. I mean, I won't add it to it now, but I think if we do have this summit, which I hope we will all agree to host, and I suggest that we put in a little slight amendment saying that attend a water summit of local MPs, blah, 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 that hosted by Southampton District Council, because we are an accountable body. We do hold the accountability for environmental health, and this comes into it to some extent. And also we should have the EA there as well, to be honest. But I do think that we should be looking for having anaerobic digestion for our for our sewage treatment. We've got an energy crisis. We could be turning that sewage into energy and making it safe to put on the land. We've got a small plant in Totnes, but that's nothing compared to the need of what we have generally. And it's like we need to start leading the way, looking at this differently, because for as long as they're trying to find excuses to keep dumping it in the water and saying, well, we don't know quite what else to do, I mean, it's so barbaric, it's untrue. So I think this will be a real good opportunity if we do, follow on all these points that have been raised. And I think it's an excellent set of points that have been put into this motion. And I think the final one, calling on them to be accountable for themselves at a water summit, I think would be really well attended. I think we maybe be careful what we wish for. We might get a lot more people than we expect, but I do think it's a really important thing to have. One took place a couple of years ago that Anthony Magnall pulled together with the various bodies, and including South West Water, and asking them to account. And that's when a lot of information came out about how much the investors were getting. 2/3 of the profits from the company goes to investors. This is disaster in the making, privatising utilities. And I think also in time to come, I will be proposing that we should seek for the new government to seek to take back into public ownership utilities, water companies. It's going to be the only way that we're actually going to see decent water quality and full accountability. So that's what I wanted to say, and I hope everybody will support this really important motion. I'm aware that there's somebody's preparing an amendment, Sam Penfold, so I don't know if that's the time for her to maybe propose that now.
Yes, can I ask for the amendments on that one, please? You've got on the screen a proposal, so yeah.
So I don't know how to do this. So do I do a little bit of talking first and then propose my amendment? Yeah. Okay. So
Chair, just for clarity, we
sorry.
need a seconder for the amendment first. So I'll put it on the screen.
What am I doing?
So if you propose the amendment as per the screen with the seconder.
Okay. Am I supposed to read it out, or does everyone read it? Okay, I can give my background now, can I? Okay, sorry. You need to tell me, guys, what I need to do, because I haven't done this before. So, okay, I completely support and endorse the motion by Councillors Mackay and Bonham. However, if possible, I would like to broaden the motion. I'd like to broaden it. South West Water isn't just about clean water, although that is essential. Their sites are located in our communities, in our villages, and as such, they need to be responsible and responsive neighbours to our local communities. In my ward of Malden Little Hempston, there is a key South West Water site based in the ancient hamlet on Hempstead Lane. It's an absolutely idyllic spot with homes that were there way long before South West Water rocked up. Recently, the waterworks have been expanded, and there is a proposal for a South West Water solar panel array to be put there in order to offset their energy budget. This is positive, especially concerning our energy crisis and the impact on the environment. However, and here's my crux of the argument, the impact of this site on the day-to-day environment of the residents to the hamlet and the villages of Little Hempston and Follaton is high. Frequent movement of lorries damaging road surfaces, ancient hedges and walls, and an increased traffic down narrow, quiet lanes. The residents are reasonable and mindful there needs to be a certain amount of lorries there. We all need clean water and we don't want to be NIMBYs, but the residents are weary because of the repairs that need to be done, and they need some support about that. It's not unreasonable to expect South West Water to make good or even better the damage and impact they create on these areas without the residents having to send email after email, meeting after meeting, contacting anyone who will represent them and still not have the issues resolved. Or as one was suggested, sort the damage to go to a sort of a civic legal procedure. So I wonder what Southampton Council can do to support this. Having spent ages with others on trying to sort this out with officers and councillors, etc. So these residents are falling between the spokes. So do I do my amendment now? Do I say that? So while I completely support or endorse the water, what's it called, the water summit that you're going to hopefully organise, but in the meantime, I ask that a review will be carried out by Southampton District Council on the impacts of South West Water's vehicles and services causing damaging to the other infrastructures such as highways and rural roads that are not being repaired and maintained. So I ask this council will call upon South West Water to address as a matter of urgency the outstanding damage and repairs required. That it?
Thank you. Councillor Dennis, did you want to come in or not? Who seconded it?
Yeah, just to say that I'm happy to second that amendment.
2 pages.
That's a second amendment which will be dealt with at a later time, Councillor Brazil.
Okay. You and Jackie accept that amendment, then it becomes the motion, we don't vote on it.
That's right. Yeah, but David to come in first, please.
Thank you, Jim. The question I would have is how the practicalities of delivering anything that you resolve here, in terms of we have no responsibility for highways and rural roads, and neither do South West Water, so they're not able to put right any damage their vehicles may be causing. So I question whether or not there was a validity to, or there was a real purpose or something we could achieve by moving this. The question would be, do you include it as part, take it just, accept that it be considered as part of the overview and scrutiny consideration rather than as a formal proposal from council?
Thank you. Quite separately to Councillor Penfold raising this, I've recently had some issues with a road in Follaton that is actually owned by Southampton District Council, that the residents have got some long-standing duty to maintain. But at the far end of that road is a South West Water plant, and that's where all its heavy daily vehicles does all the damage. They didn't even reply to the letter requesting a support, some kind of financial contribution towards that repairs. So we do have an interaction, and I think it was outrageous that they didn't actually reply to the letter. So that was quite separate to Sam producing this amendment. But I think it's actually there's probably more to this than meets the eye. But I do think actually we are, as representatives of the community, I know we can't get involved in civic matters when it comes to South Hams, but I think raising the ante on this to show that we've actually taken notice that this is going on, I think is an important duty that we could fulfil.
Thank you. Is this relevant to the report that was done by Councillor Mackay, because he was looking at water qualities rather than highways? This is to me, this is a different thing altogether. But I'd like to go to Councillor Brazil now, if I may.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, no, I think from the advice from David, and sort of when I read it again, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, it's Devon County's job to review the damage caused by South West Waters. Obviously, it's a massive important. I wonder if we could just change the wording slightly, that we could something like to highlight to Devon County Council so that they would review it, rather than, because we don't even have the equipment or the specialisms to go out and review the state of our roads, whereas the county do, and that's their job. So I wonder if we could just say, do that, and then just so word it so that it's not us doing the checking out the roads, but we actually pass it on to Devon County, and then Jackie, myself, Jonathan, sort of thing that we can raise at county.
Councillor Penfold's happy
Yeah.
with that.
Are you okay with that, Councillor
Yeah, no, I'm
Penfold?
completely happy with that. Thank
And
you.
seconder? Yeah,
Yes, I'm happy with that as well.
thank you.
Back to the proposal.
We'll go back now to Councillor Bonham, please.
Are you prepared to accept?
Oh,
that
yes, I'm
in
happy
addition
with-
to your.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
Sorry, wait, you're on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that now has been reworded to.
So that's now the substantive motion under debate, as long as you're happy as well, Jackie.
Absolutely, yeah, I support that.
second line, this council will call upon. Is that relevant? Again.
This council will call upon that council.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how is that relevant? We need a bit of
Should it be
rewording of
and
the
that
second
day?
sentence.
Hang on,
perhaps.
Should it be the beginning of that
hang on a minute.
sentence?
Well,
Should be
can I
and
suggest
that
hang on,
day?
one at a time.
We
Yeah.
give Mr. White a moment to just take account of what you're suggesting and make sure that everybody's happy.
Is that better, Councillor Bonham? Yeah, Councillor Chat. Hudson, would you like to come back in? You got your microphone?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay
support
then.
that. Thank you.
So that's the substantive motion.
Yeah. So now we're on the debate for the motion now, yeah? Good. Haven't we got a vote on that?
Is there another amendment?
No, I don't think
We're
there
into
is.
debate. We're into debate, Chairman.
We're into debate now for the substantial motion.
Another amendment, I think.
Sorry, I
Dennis,
just
you got an amendment?
yeah, sorry. Just to add to the long list, you know, well, we're already on 11 points, we might as well do 12. It was just wanted to put forward an amendment just to recognise the work that's already been done by the Overview and Scrutiny Committee back in December when we met with them. At the end of that meeting, I asked South West Water if there was anything that we as a council could constructively do to help, and they suggested three items. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear in the minutes, but it is on the recording. So this is, from what I can gather, what they were asking for. But the first was that we strongly apply and enforce the importance of separating out surface water from wastewater. So that would be through our planning applications. The second, that we proactively engage and assist wherever possible with South West Water's plans to improve infrastructure. So that's routes to office of time and access, etc. And the third, that we take South West Water up on the offer of providing materials that we can then use to inform our residents and visitors of steps that they can take to protect the sewage network and the environment.
Thank you. Seconder, please, for that. Yeah.
In terms of process, Chair, we are again in the realms of, if Councillors Bonham and Hodgson as original proposers and seconders are happy to accept those, that will instantaneously form part of the substantive motion.
Councillor Bonham.
I've got some concerns about this, if I'm honest, in the three different parts. So not without, I mean, I like the idea of supporting what they request, but the detail worries me a little bit. So I'd like to discuss that, if I may.
So therefore, Chair, we are debating the amendment only.
Yeah, right. We're now into debate for the amendment, please. So who would like to open that?
I think these are a real shame. They're completely detracting from the original motion. And if people wanted to raise the motions of their own to deal with particular areas in their ward, then they could have put forward a motion. One of them's already been accepted. What does that put me in the position of rejecting the original motion, which it was very long, but it focused on the issue which is at play. And now, a second time, we're going to water down the focus of South West Water polluting our rivers and seas to talk about some really important local issue which needs to be addressed, but needs to be addressed in a different way. I would not support this, not because it's not an important one. I wouldn't have supported the previous one. Not because it isn't important, it's because it's not to the focus of the original motion. And so I'm against them.
Thank you very much. Councillor.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. Looking at this one, I can see we can sort of tag on 11 to the original amendment. It's the original motion. This one seems to be sort of fairly redundant, it seems to me. I mean, we're recognising the work, well, we do anyway. We don't need to say that you know, the council would recognise the work done by the ONS committee. It goes without saying, surely. And surely it goes without saying that we should be actioning the request made by South West Water. So I can't see the point of it being in there. It sort of muddies the water, if you excuse the expression. So that's my view, that it's sort of redundant.
Thank you. Anyone else like to come in on this? Councillor Bonham?
Yeah, I mean, if I try and understand what it's saying, if I may, I mean, the point one, we strongly apply and enforce the importance of separating out surface and water from wastewater. I don't see how this council can do anything on that. It's not in our remit, is it, as far as I understand, that we engage and assist wherever possible plans to improve infrastructure. Well, again, I mean, that's through the planning process, and I'm not sure whether we prejudice a planning process if we already approve their plans for infrastructure. Again, I'm confused. And that we take up the offer of providing materials. Well, they have a marketing department and a PR department. Why are we being asked to publicise their request to the public? I think it's important that members of the public do take steps not to pollute waste and put the wrong things down the loo. But again, it's not, is that really our role? So I'm just a little confused about whether we've got the remit for this, and I doubt whether I can support it for those reasons.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got a job to see what this got to do with the original motion, to be perfectly honest. I can understand where it's coming from, but you know, I've difficulty finding out where it's coming into the original motion. Right, Hop.
Thank you, Chairman. I think I'm right in saying that Councillor Denis has proposed this amendment because she is concerned that ONS haven't carried out the recommendations from the meeting, and it's a way of getting the recommendations put into practice. Because once again, you can't have meetings and then not follow through the actions. So I think in this case, I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong, Councillor Denis, but it's the actions from the meeting, and she was concerned that the actions from the meeting weren't being carried out, and this was a way to reinforce that.
Thank you very much. But I'm just thinking that maybe we could have brought this forward as a separate agenda item rather than connecting it to this one. But that's me. Councillor Hodgson.
Thank you, Chairman. I think what the points that are being made are really strong, but I do think, as Councillor Abbott has said, we have to be very wary of watering things down. I supported the issue around the roads because I know how urgent that is, and I think that's, you know, leaving that. But I would suggest that maybe Councillor Denis might think about potentially deferring this, because if we're expecting to actually have some kind of a meeting with them in September, then these are either questions that could be asked then, or they could be actually, it could just be deferred to our meeting, which will take place shortly before that. So it maybe builds up. But I think this, I would suggest strongly to just leave the original motion plus the First Amendment, item 11, as is, and let this one be used otherwise, but rather than take away from what's the focus of this particular motion that's going forward at the moment on water quality.
Yeah, I think I agree with the sentiment of the last few speakers, really, though I don't disagree with the substance of some of this amendment. It seems to me to be an issue for overview and scrutiny to pursue actions that overview and scrutiny has given it to itself. And if that needs to have a separate motion to full council to do that, I think that's probably more appropriate than tagging it onto a motion which is about what we think South West Water should be doing. So I would support this as a separate motion, but I think it's out of place here, and perhaps overview and scrutiny need to have a think about what it is that they're doing and what their thinking is about their meeting with South West Water and the outcomes of that.
Thank you. Councillor Denis, would you like to come in, please?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my intention was not to detract from the original motion whatsoever, because I completely endorse and support it. So it was just really to highlight you know, that we'd already had a meeting, obviously, with South West Water, and some fruitful conversations had come about from that. But I'm very happy to withdraw this and pursue it through other means.
Okay, did you want to say something?
The main part of the debate, if I may. So perhaps I'll leave it for the time being.
Yeah, right. And you were happy to defer that one until another meeting, yeah? Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. So we can now move into the debate for the main motion. So we want to open up. Is that? Oh, sorry.
Right, thank you, Chairman. Some 12 months ago, when ONS and I actually asked, and Councillor Cooper asked for ONS to actually have South West Water and the Environment Agency to ONS, we were told by officers that we really had no powers to actually do that. But because we felt that so many of us and so many of our residents and so many of our councillors were concerned by South West Water and the way they are actually supplying and looking after our residents and our communities, that it was allowed to come to the committee. We did meet them in December, and a task and finish group for South West Water was set up, which it was agreed at the first meeting to allow South West Water 6 months to actually come back with a work programme that would actually assist with us and actually come forward with our communities. So, first of all, ONS have been doing this. We have got South West Water coming to the meeting on the 17th of October. I have expressed my concerns that the 17th of October is quite a long way away still, even in July. And I had asked for the possibility of a special meeting to be called to discuss issues with South West Water before the 17th. South West Water have already agreed to come to the ONS on the 17th, but I fully support this motion, totally and utterly support this motion. We have to hold South West Water to account. They are failing the residents of the South Hams, they're failing all of us. Our beaches, we live in one of the most beautiful parts of the world. And to have raw sewage still going out into our rivers, onto our beaches, and into our roads and streets and Kingsbridge town centre is totally and utterly unacceptable. So I would totally support this. I would hope that the meeting is arranged around the CEO of South West Water, so they can't make an excuse not to come to a meeting that we have set. So it's actually at their convenience. I would certainly support the MPs coming to that meeting. I will go back slightly in the past. Anthony Magnell was really good at trying to hold South West Water to account, and I'm sure that our new MP will do equally as good a job in the future. I look forward to seeing that. I live in the village. It's just been mentioned that it was Brixham that had the crypto, and I can't pronounce it like the rest of you. I can't pronounce that. But it actually Kingsware had it, and Hillhead had it, and our residents in the South Hams had it. I have had it. I was off work for 3 days. I know, I don't think I had it as bad as many other people, but I've been to parish council meetings in our village where South West Water have come, and I've heard where 3 and 4 members of their family have all had it. They had to go off work. It's caused a huge amount of inconvenience. The crypto, go on, Jackie. And it's caused a huge amount of concern to our residents and illness, and also badly affected our businesses. I go to my other section of my county patch. I'm not talking to the district council, my county patch, Malden and in Compton. Compton, similar to the issues now I've heard in Kingsbridge, Compton have had years of raw sewage coming up into their road, into their heart of their community, and South West Water, we've had a number of meetings on site to them, and hopefully they're going to come forward with a solution that by the end of this year, early next year, this will stop. but we have had people made seriously ill in Compton. We have had, I'm a dog lover, as you all know. We've had one family that actually has had a serious effect on her dog and has cost several thousands of pounds, which South West Water, or even though it's been proven it's from raw sewage in the street, South West Water is still not prepared to pay the vet's bill, which is unacceptable. So I fully support this. I think I've waffled far too much. My leader says I always have, so that's the reason why I'll just go on a little bit longer. It was mentioned about Little Hempston. That's in my county patch as well. And South West Water are not really good neighbours. They really are not good neighbours. And the issue there, I'm going to go back to, they want to, I think they're putting a planning application in, it's being discussed at the moment perhaps, for solar panels in Little Hempston. There has been an aspiration, and I'm sorry I'm waffling and I apologise, there's been an aspiration for years to create a cycle path that could now be done if just South West Water ticked a box and said, yes, you can come through our land. But now they're still saying no. And we could have a cycle path to Totnes from Little Hempston, which is vitally needed for those residents. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. And I look forward to being at that meeting.
Thank you very much. Councillor Callaghan.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I was in Dartmouth to meet Jonathan, Councillor Hawkins, about something else actually, and I took the opportunity of calling on the South West Water vans who were there at the time because there was a cryptosporidium outbreak, and I chatted to them. I didn't tell them who I was, of course, and in case they wanted my autograph, yeah, and you know, we had chatted about water and the problems and how long it's going to take to sort it out. And I asked them if the CEO, Susan Davy, was going to come down. I had been down. And they said, oh, yes, she was down yesterday. I said, well, I didn't see that publicised anywhere. And they said, oh, no, we wouldn't publicise it because people might come and get cross with her. And I then told them I was a councillor and they looked a bit worried, and off I went. And I thought that seems to sort of sum up the attitude to all this. It's absolutely shocking. I mean, we've had, as Jackie I think mentioned, we've had Mr Mangnall having a series of, when he was in office, a series of these meetings which were, you know, people could come and it was good to talk and all that, but we needed the organ grinder really. We didn't have the head of that organisation turning up and accounting for her organisation's actions. And that's what we need. So if we can get that, that would be really good. We need someone to actually, you know, not just some middle management who are being told that they're going to go to prison or whatever and they look terrified. We need the person who's at the top of the organisation, who's accountable, who gets paid a lot of money, may or may not include bonuses, in order to, you know, in order to do a good job is what they should be doing. So if we can get Susan Davy, I think that would be excellent, and the new MPs and all the rest of it. People are feeling very frustrated and powerless. You may have seen the pictures on Spotlight last night outside, I think it was Pennon's AGM, the parent organisation of South West Water. People outside the headquarters peacefully protesting, including Surfers Against Sewage. And I didn't see anybody coming out and talking to them or anything like that. People need answers and they need reassurance and they need action to be taken. And this is something that we can do, that people, you know, will show our residents that we are trying to do something to hold this organisation accountable. People are angry. I mean, it was mentioned earlier, we have had these incidents in Kingsbridge. We've had sewage coming up through the drains. We've had meeting on meeting with South West Water, people on the ground. Again, Susan Davy hasn't been, who are trying to do their best on the ground. They had tankers on the quay in Kingsbridge for months and months, trying to sort of pump it all out. But no doubt, in next high tide and heavy rain, it will come back again. So something needs to be done. And I think this is a very good start. So I will definitely support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't think that's a part. I don't think that's a problem. I think everybody would support that, to be honest. Councillor Hancock.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, I wholeheartedly support the motion but I think we have to be realistic about what we are. I mean, people talk about holding South West Water to account, and how previous MPs have held them to account, and the new MP can hold them to account, and we can hold them to account. We can't. We can't hold them to account because we are a small district council with very little power. Single MPs can't hold South West Water to account because they just won't listen. So I suppose what I'm saying is that we have to be realistic about what we can do, and we have to go into this process if we want to engage with them and we want to bring them to a summit, which I think we should. We shouldn't be sort of saying, let's hold them to account, let's do this, let's make them do that, because ultimately our power in this relationship is very limited. And so I think we have to think carefully, and the people we invite have to think carefully about what it is we can actually do to make South West Water be a better neighbour, to behave themselves as a water company, to stop doing the all the activities that are so well known. So I think just a little bit of care needs to be taken into the how of all of this. I think that's.
I believe that we can, as a council, put pressure on. I don't think you might not win the battle, but you've got to be in the war. Otherwise, you've got no chance of winning the battle.
But that's entirely my point, Jem. But we have to be careful about how we think about doing that. Is my point. We have to a little bit of thought and less sort of verbosity.
Councillor Oram, I think you wanted to come in.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. First of all, I just wanted to thank Councillor Penfold for bringing her amendment in, because it's one of those issues that gets forgotten. So, first of all, thank you for that. In terms of the motion as a whole, we do need to be unified as a council in this motion to send a clear message to South West Water. And I take Councillor Hancock, thank you. I take Councillor Hancock's point. So many names. Yeah, who are you? Let me try that one again. I take Councillor Hancock's point of how much power we actually have realistically. But if we put a motion forward of this sentiment, and if Devon County Council put a motion forward of this sentiment, if other local charities put statements like this forward, then it builds up, then it creates momentum, and it has weight. So I would like to point that out. In terms of South West Water and their attitude, we've heard quite a few different stories today about how South West Water have dealt with certain issues. And I think they've treated us with complete contempt, and they've treated our residents with complete contempt, and they have treated our environment with complete contempt. So it's important that we raise these issues and that we have our views heard, regardless on how much real hard power we have on the subject. At the end of the day, this is a fundamental failure of their duty of care to our residents and our environment, and is a scandal of epic proportions. So if we can do even one thing to hold them to account, then we should. And therefore, I will be supporting this motion, Chairman. Thank you.
Very much. Councillor Brazil.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bernard. And yeah, look, I agree with pretty much everything that's been said previously, and I'd just like to thank Sam Dennis for withdrawing her amendments, and I'm sure ONS can sort that out. That's much appreciated. I have to say, with the new government, there are some aspects within the new government legislation and the water emergency bill that they brought in, which I think are good. They have said that the South West Water will have to produce monitoring of every single outlet, independent monitoring of every single sewage outlet within their area. And what we must make sure is that they do that speedily and quickly so that we can know exactly what's going on. The no bonuses bit, I have to say that wrangles with me so much. How on earth can you be paid a bonus when you've been failing and yet you get paid a bonus? you know, the business model is obviously something wrong there. That if you can get paid a bonus for being absolutely useless at your job, then there's something wrong with the system, and we need to change that. And then also they talked about how they were going to be a lot firmer as far as breaking the criminal law is concerned. Well, we've heard that all before, and you know, I heard Anthony speak about it, and he said that how they had the toughest rules and regulations, you know, for these water companies being under control. But the truth of the matter is that they just didn't take any notice because they didn't care and they knew they could get away with it. And I won't be happy, if I'm honest, until I see a water executive going to prison, because I think that's what should happen. Because although we just say, you know, well, it's a bit of sewage there, it has a massive impact. That outbreak of cryptosporidium, there were people that did not come down to holiday to the South Devon because they heard there was an outbreak of cryptosporidium. It costs us, it costs us hundreds of thousands of pounds. It costs our local businesses like that. So it affects our real day lives. People go swimming in the sea and pick up some very, very nasty illnesses from it. And I'm sure that could well be linked back to the outlets of sewage into the sea. And then, of course, the in Kingsbridge, my hometown, of sewage in the centre of town, unacceptable and a massive health hazard. So I think when you roll all that in, these people are being paid massive amounts of money to do a job. They're failing. And if they break the criminal law, they should go to prison. If you or I broke the law, we'd go to prison. We'd certainly be up in front of a judge. And I don't see why they should be any different. And it reminds me a lot of, what happens within, you know, as we've seen it with the post office as well, is that seems to be a culture in this country of corporate greed, and that trumps all. And we need to fight back. And I think that this council doing this motion today is part of that fight back, where the public expect us as elected people to make sure that corporate greed does not succeed and will not be tolerated in this country. So I absolutely support it. I want to see the CEO in front of us, justifying why she still thinks she should still have her job, quite frankly, because I think she's got a lot of questions to answer there. And if she doesn't come, then we should make a song and dance about it and say she's not even prepared to face the customers that pay for her wages. So look, thank you to John, Lee and Jackie now for seconding this motion. I think it's great that we're making a stand, and I think that this is just the start of the campaign that we're doing with other partners, including government and other councils and others, community groups, to make sure that we hold these people to account and that we get the service that we deserve here. After all, we've paid for it and we should get the service. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Hopwood.
Thank you, Chairman. I absolutely applaud Councillor Brazil for what he's just said, because I think there is every part of what he said is truth. I agree with everybody who has spoken today on this motion, apart from Councillor Hancock. I'm sorry, but because, to be quite frank, we are here to represent our residents, and we may not, if we start on a negative by thinking what are we going to achieve from this, we would hardly ever get anything done as councillors, because we start on a negative on most things, but there are lots of things that we do actually achieve. I think they need to be held to account on behalf of our residents, and I think they're just ignorant to the impact that everything has had in the South Hams and the wider Devon County on businesses and residents. The infrastructure is dated. The bonuses are being paid when actually those bonuses could probably pay for the infrastructure. They get so damn much. We do need to start this fight back, and I absolutely would be united with you on that, Councillor Brazil. And I just ask if we could, is there any way we could write to, as a council, let's be at the forefront of this. Let's be at the forefront of trying to change and just, to be fair, become an irritant in their ears. Could we consider writing to all the councillors within the area that South West Water cover, asking them if they'll take the same motion to their councils? Could we write to all local businesses who were affected badly by the outbreak and who lost money through it? Could we ask them if they could write to South West Water? And could we maybe make this into a bigger thing than speaking with South Hams? Could we make it into a, get other councils on side and get all councils in a room to speak to the South West Water, and let's let them see what it feels like to be a rabbit in the headlights and to be that person who's got to answer questions to residents, and let them stand there and answer the questions to a group of councils, not just us on our own. That there is power in numbers, and there's certainly power in numbers of councillors, because we all are passionate about the way our communities and our residents are treated. And we are here to support those residents and to give them a voice, to help them become a voice. So we could really wrap this up. And I believe as a council, although we are just little old South Hams, we are absolutely a big little old South Hams, and we always have been and always will be. So let's be at the start of this.
Well spoken. Agree totally. Councillor Penfold.
Oh, so long ago, I forgot. Okay, I want to bring it back to us, if I may. I really endorse what everybody else has been saying, but I was sort of thinking about what powers we have as a district council have, and with the limited dealings I've had in Compton with South West Water and Little Hempston, one of the things that South West Water want to do is they want to develop, obviously, the solar array panels that are going on. So they want their neighbours and the communities on board with them. And I know that they have properties that they might want to develop into housing or whatever, they want to convert. So I wondered how much our planning department plays in all this in terms of supporting or endorsing what South West Water does. That's sort of, David Fairbairn might hiss at me when I say about this, in terms of, the emphasis. Yeah, so. Oh, all right, sorry, okay. Okay, all right, I'm stopping, thank you.
I'm sorry, but this has nothing to do with planning.
Thank you. Yeah, as has been said, I agree with the points that have been made. And I would just say to have confidence in the fact that even though we might be, relatively speaking, a small council, there's no reason why we can't stand up for the people that have elected us here. I think, having an opportunity to take into account and maybe start really opening up this chasm of, holding them to account could easily have a knock-on effect if we get good publicity, make sure the media's there. Other councils will pick up and say, yeah, if they can do that, so can we, and ask them about their particular issues. But we are specifically sort of very, we've got a lot of good people in our area. We've got Friends of the Dart who've been looking at stuff. There's been citizen science going on. We've got the South Devon Catchment Partnership that's been doing a lot of work gathering people together for a long time. So there's a lot of very knowledgeable people. I think this could be a really important, strong meeting. I do think we should make sure the Environment Agency is in the room. There's a guy called Nick Palin who's to work for them. He does work for them now, and he worked for, I can't remember which other company he worked for before. But nevertheless, they are those that they can hold South West Water to account. And we need to make sure that they're there witnessing the questions being asked and the answers being given to make sure that they stick to their word. And I think, to be frank, I think we had quite a good, what's the word for expression, a bit of a run for our money with FCC. And I think we should put that back into practice. We got, quite into our, Nikki, you were fantastic. You sorted them out, all the ones with the slopey shoulders there. So I think, we shouldn't underestimate what we can achieve. We might have to recognise that we're going to not do it all in one meeting, but certainly we need to make change the game on this, and never underestimate that what a small group of people can do, because we're not that small really. We represent a lot of people.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Cooper. No, sorry, Councillor Steele first.
Thank you, Chair. So following on a bit from what Councillor Hancock said about accountability and who can hold South West Water to account, that's Ofwat. So perhaps I hope they consider me on the invitation list. They are the economic regulator. Their strategy is to transform water companies' performance, to drive water companies to meet long-term challenges. So to invite them maybe not only just to back up what we're trying to do with South West Water, but maybe hold their feet a bit to the fire as well. They're supposed to be doing this, not us. So what our Ofwat doing. So perhaps a two-pronged approach there. And if to add one more name to the invitation list, Fergal Sharkey. Let's get him along. I mean, and that's not just Fiffins. I mean, he was in Cornwall, in Plymouth last month, highlighting water issues. He's on a tour of the UK to do that. So, let's get a bit of star power, a bit of a shout on our side as well. Thank you.
Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to offer cross-party support for this motion. Also mention what Jackie just said regarding Friends of the Dart. Obviously, we've got 3 new formal water bathing, designated as bathing water along with the Dart, thanks to their efforts. And also just mention that it's not just the CEO pay, it's the whole upper tier of Pennon's pay, which our residents can only wish for. And they're kind of just laughing at us. So echo what Julian said with concerning there needs to be some sort of action taken against them. It has been criminal, and hopefully with a change of government and hopefully leading that will see us be able to make some sort of solution and hopefully make our water quality better.
Thank you very much. Councillor Eady.
Thank you very much. I think everyone has expressed quite a lot of passion today discussing the subject, and we're all motivated, I think, from the way in which we engage with our community on this subject. So I too have stories of, for example, we're organising a regatta, Yelm regatta swimming event this weekend, and do we run that event or not? And that's something which we are constantly questioning. Do we go in the water or not? And it's a feature now that's part of our daily life. So I too support this motion, and also sitting in the ONS meeting last time when South West Water came in, and slightly inspired by Councillor Hopwood actually, because coming up with a creative way in which we can influence. There are a lot of people who are already raising this issue of South West Water. There's a lot of movement in this space in the community level, and I think that one way in which we can achieve something slightly different as an angle of putting on pressure with South West Water is by bringing in different parts of the community to express their own views, to be able to offer a different side to this picture rather than just simply being angry. I think when it comes to that ONS meeting, whether we are able to coordinate such an approach would be quite something different. There's nothing more than they've already seen and heard from different levels of society, whether it's us repeating something they've already heard again, perhaps doesn't have the impact we thought that we would like. So I really do like the idea that you've come up with, Councillor Hopwood, and I think I urge us all in ONS to be able to perhaps put in some time beforehand to be able to coordinate that.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, Councillor Mooney.
And I just want to remind everybody here that we're still paying the highest rates of water in the whole entire United Kingdom. For that value, we're supposed to get value back.
Thank you very much. Right, if there's no further out there, I would like to make a comment really, because South West Water, to me, and the Environment Agency, who tend to work hand in hand, so they need to get together. I remember having an accidental not a sewage, but a pollution incident, and they done me for £4,500. They gave me a month to pay, and if I didn't, they could put me in jail. But South West Water seemed to be able to do it on a regular basis, and they get nothing. So I'm going to ask for my money back. That was 15 years ago, but I was a bit late now. But Councillor Bonham, I'll take you back to round up if you like.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jay, and thanks very much for everyone's generally supportive comment. And I want to give credit again to John McKay, who initiated this. I think he's put a very, very good motion together. My part of it was very small. Just to kind of summarise and emphasise some points. Yes, I think we can be at the forefront of change. I mean, this is a complex topic. People have been doing a lot already, but we can push the next step. And I think it's also fair to say that they haven't changed. South West Water, as the report shows from the EA, have not improved their ratings since 2011 on water pollution in the river or the overall environmental assessment. So despite all the good work done so far, they really, really do not seem to care at all about these issues, and that has got to be fixed. So yes, we should invite the chief executive. Yes, we should invite the EA and other organisations. But we should highlight that there's no real plan for change either. I've got in front of me here the South West Water Business Plan 2025 to 2030. It's 94 pages, and it doesn't actually say what they're really, really going to do about it to fix the problem. So have a look yourself. One of the areas that they will improve is storm overflows, which is the area that we all care a lot about. And they're going to improve it by 12% over 5 years. So a 2 percentage point increase per year is really not a lot. In fact, I would say it's just, you know, a sham, to be honest, rather than a real improvement. I think the EA report that came out on Tuesday, where they were rated the worst, does show some water companies improving. It can actually be done. And what I would ask the request to South West Water is we need a proper investment plan for this area. We need money on the table with specific times and dates for investment to really solve the issues that we've got within the South Hams and beyond. And we're not getting that at the moment. So overall, I hope you can support the motion, and we need to push for change and encourage that by all means that we possibly can. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So now we move straight into the vote on this motion that's on the board, and plus the amendment, of course. So we all in favour of it?
That's 23 and unanimous. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think that basically comes us to a conclusion of this council meeting, but apart from a few things for me, the next meeting is on the 26th of September, as you've probably already heard. And a reminder that you're all welcome to come to my civic service on the 15th of September with the service and the lunch afterwards, so you'll be all more than welcome. And you might call me an old stick in the mud, but I'm quite pleased to see that some of you found jackets today. Because we're trying to I know you are, but it's nice to present yourself to the general public in a proper council manner.
Here, here, Chairman.
So, thank you very much indeed, and thank you for your attendance. Sorry.
Get your trunks on, Bernard.
Yeah, can I take her for a swim? Thank you very much. I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much.